Ian and Liana of I Hate LA, Love Me Anyway. I'm an environmentalist, a human rights activist, one hell of a DILF, and a gourmet chef. It's the day after Valentine's Day. I hope everyone enjoyed the holiday. I didn't spend it doing anything because I have a concussion because a Latino attacked me on Sunday. So, didn't go out to a bar, didn't go to clubs. I went to a movie the day before Valentine's Day, but Valentine's Day came and went and just didn't do anything. I don't think I've ever really celebrated the holidays, so I don't know what Valentine's Day really is because I've never really had anyone to celebrate it with or met someone on Valentine's Day, so there's that. So the time draws near, end of the month. I have to move to Canada, so it's just a decision I made. Because why stay in a country that committed 2 hate crimes against you and war crimes against you? I mean, I want to stay and fight, but where would I stay and fight? Because I can't live here in this neighborhood. I'm so glad people are finally coming into the chat. Hello, everyone. Привет, Nicoletta. Как дела? Я есть. Hello, Momo-chan. I'm Ian Ileana. I am here in Los Angeles as an environmentalist, talking about how I have been tortured by the American government. I have been abused by the County of Los Angeles. Nicoletta. As a Spider-Man, I probably could, but not as disabled American veteran. It kind of makes things difficult. Pожалуйста. Wouldn't you be mad? America sexually abuses me at Lackland Air Force Base, then continues to abuse me in California. And so I'm left with, what am I supposed to do? Because they won't give me my veteran benefits. With my veteran benefits, I could live in a house, have like 10 dogs, and never be abused again. Just live in a house. But America doesn't want to do that. America wants to torture. Yes, I am disabled. And hi, Alicia Gaspar. Hello, hello. So I'm just left in a weird position because they won't give me the money I need to buy a house, live by myself, and they don't give me a country that I can be proud of. So what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just say, you owe me money, but, sure, America can just operate as it normally does? It's like, no. So I started this podcast, I Hate LA, Love Me Anyway, because the bastards of California set the entire county on fire. So someone has to speak up, because you destroyed houses, you destroyed just the forest in general. So every day I get on here and I podcast as often as possible. I usually have 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as the official time for podcasts, but I do podcast throughout because the conversation will never stop for me. Even if I'm talking to 2 people or I'm talking to 20 people. I just saw a video last night of someone whose house burned down in these LA fires, and she's crying about her garden. She lost her pet lizard, she lost her house, she lost everything. Oh, when I say transgender, I mean that emotionally, physically, I am someone who is in between or not of the same gender. Non-binary people, they just don't believe in gender whatsoever. I say, no, I mean, I kind of just flip between the two, but no, I won't be doing any operations whatsoever. I am 100% fine in my body. I've just been so psychologically traumatized. I can't consider myself a regular male. Not anymore. Not after what the United States Air Force did to me. But no, I'm disabled because I have PTSD from military sexual trauma. I'm disabled because they injured my legs so that they could sexually abuse me. That's what the United States government did. I just found out yesterday, after calling 30 times to find one male VA representative that I could speak to, because I don't speak to females over the phone if I can help it. After what I experienced, I'm sorry, I consider all females to be predators until proven otherwise. I respect them as people. I support women's causes. I just, you can't talk to me and you can't sit next to me. That's all. Equal rights, freedom for all, but don't sit next to me. But I found out yesterday that the VA never followed up on the people who did medical reports on me. You see, with the VA, when they want to award you benefits, they send you to a compensation and pension exam, C&P. You go to the exam, they ask what your symptoms are, they check things, and they make a report. I found out that neither of the doctors that I've just recently seen sent in a report. Adrian, normally that would rattle me, but I'm gonna actually go and talk about what happened to me. The United States Air Force sexually abused me under threat of gun violence, under threat of death. And ever since then, I've had predatory experiences with similar women, and it does not make me feel well. When some disgusting Latina grandmother tries to grab you, not even tries to grab your crotch, grab my crotch on the Long Beach Transit, how would that make you feel? Would you go, oh, grandma, you rascal? Or would you say, get the fuck off me? Because I said, get the fuck off me. People look at me strange. They're like, oh, why are you yelling? You know, it's an old woman. It's just like, no, no, no. It reminds me of my military sexual trauma. Now, as far as transitioning and, you know, how I feel about transgender, whatever, oh, I am fighting it. I am fighting that like you would not believe. The only problem is this county of Los Angeles is doing everything to trigger my PTSD, like they want me to be transitioned or something. So the only thing I can do to stop the abuse is to sequester myself as much as possible. But that doesn't really work when somehow I get locked out of my apartment and I have to roam the streets and I get a bunch of, can I sit next to you? Oh, we don't have any male social workers. Can I lean over you while you're in a wheelchair? And like, I didn't know what that was gonna, you know. You see, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to America. They torture people. And you think, okay, well, they're torturing terrorists, they're torturing, you know, Al Qaeda, they're torturing like little kids that blow up the Boston massacre, whatever. They do that. That's not the case. They're torturing ordinary citizens. I'm being tortured by the American government. And I'm going to say that on YouTube over and over and over again. Because if you're being tortured by the American government, maybe now you see that. Maybe now you see when strange people come up to you and they do something that there's a little bit more to it than the randomness. I mean, I want everyone to be safe. And that's why I'm doing this podcast, because you have to speak about what's happening, the truth. The United States is a terrible fucking country. I mean, people say it's great, it's this, it's that. There are more children who are illiterate than should be. There are more children who don't finish high school. There are more children who are gunned down in elementary school than there should be. So where's the government on that? I mean, I'm a disabled American veteran, but where is your precious American government when it comes to what's going on in the Department of Education? Because they seem to drop the ball for Department of Veteran Affairs, but they're not doing anything for the Department of Education either. Adrian, thank you so much for being in my chat, because I'm going to read what you said. The thing is, we live in a society that has lost its way and the government is taking advantage of it to control. The government is not there to help, but to control. I agree with you. 100% agree with you. Because a lot of people would not talk about technology and how technology has inserted itself into politics, into our society. Everyone sticks Bluetooth earbuds in their ear and, you know, they trust it, they listen to it, they get directions through it. You think that's the only signal that goes through there? Do you think that that can't be hacked? Do you think that sometimes when you're in a flow state and your favorite song is on and it you might hear a whisper going turn left, that doesn't put you right into traffic? Like, wake up, people. I mean, I love an iPhone just as much as the next person, but the more we use these things, the more we expose ourselves to government abuse. I mean, it's true, if you're not doing anything wrong and it just tracks your movements, at least you know where you are. But they're not the only ones who know who you are and where you are, and that can easily be hacked. I mean, that's the one good thing I have about living in California. California doesn't really hide the fact that it's a government state. Everyone thinks Texas is a government state. California is a government state. What I mean by government state, it's a state based on control. They make people appear and disappear right in front of your eyes. And you can see it happen. No other state have I experienced something like that. Hence why I want to leave. And besides, even disheveled with my morning hair and everything, and no makeup, because, whatever. I still think I'm pretty. I still think I'm worthy of love. And I'm not going to donate my face to LA bigotries. I'm sorry, LA bigots who commit hate crimes. It's just not worth it. So, off to Canada I go. I have to ask for a political asylum from America, which is in itself laughable until I present them with how many police reports that I have of America's manipulation to torture me. And they know I have PTSD from military sexual trauma. So they parked me right across a woman with a megaphone. So every night I hear a woman on a megaphone. And then every other night I have a woman on the third floor who just screams in random languages. Some sort of like Thai or Tagalog or Vietnamese or something like that. And then I've had women break into my apartment, women squatting in the apartment complex to jump out at me when I'm at the bottom of the staircase. I've had a woman sick her dog on me and my dog, all in the same building. Other people would say, damn, that's some terrible luck. I say, no, that's a government torture. It's a concentration camp. This is literally a concentration camp in America. When you live in Hudvash housing, you're living in a concentration camp because they're doing everything to try and bend you back towards America. It's not really working that way for me. I'm extremely patriotic, but I'm the kind of patriot who says, if there is something wrong with America, I pick up the shield and I go fight. It's kind of like a Captain America, but no super serum here. I just use my electro. The only good thing that I can say that the system has done for me is they've provided housing, because I'm indoors right now. I've got the heat on. I just cooked a meal on an electric stove. And the meal itself was bought with food stamps. But that's the same exact way that you treat a dog or a cat. It's not how you treat a person, especially not how you treat a veteran who is disabled. It seems every day I call up the VA and they keep saying, we're in the development phase. And it's just like, what the fuck does that even mean? Because it just seems to me that you're stalling so something horrific happens so you never have to pay me. And that's what a lot of veterans are going through. They are aging them out. So by the time they get their benefits, it's what can you possibly do? Because if I got the benefits when I was 35, I would have been able to say, okay, great. I'll go to medical school. I'll finish that, pay that. And then I'd be a doctor. I'd be an attending physician by now because I'm really good at medicine. But now, after years and years of being groped and nightmares and being tortured by some woman on a megaphone, how the hell am I supposed to practice medicine normally? I'll still practice medicine. I still intend to go to medical school, PTSD or not. But it's going to make things interesting. I refuse to give up on my dreams just because I have a disability. I'm a messy eater. No, I have a lawyer and everything. And I thank my law firm for taking me this far. But for them, it's also, just let the system do what the system does. So this way, it stretches things out. There are more billable hours that they can accrue. I'm just being taken advantage of by both sides. I'm being taken advantage of the VA because the VA tells me, oh, we're waiting for the request to come up for review again. And then we'll send a message. Hey, doctor, could you fill out that report we asked for 3 months ago? You know, when that person was right in front of you. I want to as well, but I can't study for the MCATs in the middle of a barrio. I can't do that. Some people could. I'm not going to do that. My advice for myself is to get out of a barrio and go live in a neighborhood or live in a tent and just study for my MCATs that way. This is why I need my VA benefits, because I was always going to be a medical engineer doctor, not a clinician or a surgeon. A clinician or a surgeon would see a person who already is in the worst health, and I would see them beforehand to make life adjustments so that they would be on the road toward recovery and toward better health. And I think I would only do it through telehealth anyway, so. But that's the kind of doctor I was going to be anyway. Purely research and outpatient. But people need that. People definitely need medical technology. I'm an engineer. I put in my description, change.org/genius to Mars, change.org/clear LA smog. I am a brilliant engineer. Unfortunately, I live in America and they're doing everything to turn me into a dumb American who doesn't do anything. And I say, that's not good enough for me. I'm an American who needs a lab. I need private housing, and I need to publish papers, because that's how you populate media with a very good idea. Good health, good public health is a very good thing for America. That's what I was going to talk to everyone about today. Miracle Day. You see, when you are disgusted with America, you tend to wander toward other programming. Oh, there's actually a link in the description for a petition to help people like me with military sexual trauma. I highly recommend that you take a look and you sign that, because the American government is just robbing us. It's like they abuse you and you know you can't function anymore. And then they give you the worst doctors, the worst medical team to pretty much keep you in a disabled state. And most people with PTSD from military sexual trauma, they fall into alcohol, they fall into drugs, they're constantly homeless. They hear voices and they're trapped in, I mean, I experience some, if not all of that, but I'm also going to fight. I'm also going to fight on YouTube. Oh. So one day, I hopped up on the BBC and I came across this thing called Torchwood. I've loved that show ever since. And they had this idea called Torchwood Miracle Day. It was on Stars. It was this huge, huge crossover event. Like major people were in it. Bill Pullman was in it. Eve Miles was in it. Lots of people, lots and lots of people were in it. But it was this idea of an event that happened globally where true health happened. I mean by true health is people stopped dying. People just kept living. There was one catch though. They were living with whatever injuries that they sustained. So if you were in a car accident and the steering wheel went straight into your chest, guess what? You were living forever with a steering wheel injury to the chest. I'm not going to recap the entire series, but that's what the world is right now. Because we have terrible, terrible doctors who don't have every tool at their disposal. I'm a medical engineer. I come up with brand new inventions in order to save lives. I need my VA benefits to work on prototypes so I can start mass producing it and have it available in every hospital. Because some of my ideas could actually fix things like that. Because I don't agree that if you have massive injuries, you can't repair that. The human body is just a blueprint. Once you know what that blueprint is, you can just print it again. And that's pretty much my attitude toward medicine. Anything that goes wrong, replace and make it better. But instead of that, I'm a disabled American veteran stuck in a barrio. And when people try to talk to me, I scream or run away. Thank you so much, Air Force, for that. Oh, Adrian, you're absolutely right. I will never stop fighting. And as for the person who sexually abused me, her name is Master Sergeant Miranda. No, I didn't take her first name, and the military has always been very proud of their levels of control. So I only addressed her as Master Sergeant Miranda, but because I had to give a reporting statement, I could always remember Master Sergeant Miranda. But she didn't do it alone. She did it because military training instructor Lozano injured my leg through his negligence of telling me that there was a hazard that I was about to go into, but demanding that I move with more urgency, therefore putting me right into the path of a hazard. So those are two names: military training instructor Lozano and Master Sergeant Miranda of the Lackland Air Force Base. The United States Air Force are cowards. They saw someone reading a calculus textbook and they were threatened. They were threatened because they knew that one day, I will be the best engineer this country has ever seen, the world has ever seen. And they knew that I would give them no credit, that I would publicly embarrass them for what they did to me by proving that the United States Air Force and every last branch has done nothing but worsen international relations and rob American families of their children. Am I still pro-military? Of course. But if you didn't have to throw American lives to some military industrial complex, what else could you do? Change.org/genius to Mars. I need some military people to come with me to Mars, to colonize that. I think that seems to be a more worthwhile thing than crawling through the desert looking for Al Qaeda. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just wild that I think that a bunch of Marines or Navy or Army would be better served going to another planet instead of risking their lives in a Humvee driving over improvised explosive devices. I think the sands of Mars might actually be safer. So, no. You see, if the American government wants to psychologically torture me, wants to deny me my benefits, I have every right to appeal. I have every right to march my brown ass all the way to Washington, D.C. and speak to the Senate directly and say, what the fuck do you think you're doing that you are sexually abusing, raping, and harassing heroes who love America? Now, I come off as extremely anti-American, but is it truly anti-American to say don't burn down the forests and don't burn down people's houses? Is it truly anti-American to say don't rape a serviceman? Is it, America? I don't think it is. I think it's American to say hands off our bodies. I think it's American to say if you can't do enough with diplomacy, as I get some fluff up my hair, if you can't do enough with diplomacy to make sure that we don't have to deploy soldiers for certain things, then you're not doing enough for the country. If Americans are so poor and devoid of options that they can only turn to the military, then you're not doing enough for your country. If the food they eat ruins their health, you're not doing enough for your country. So, yeah. I'm too much of a fighter. That's why I joined the military. Because I'm a fighter. I just fight very differently. Thank you, Adrian. Please like and subscribe. And you can't hide when you're special. And you shouldn't have to. Which is why I always wear costumes when I go out. I wear my Miles Morales costume. I wear my Superboy costume. Because somehow we get it in our heads that heroes aren't real, and magic isn't real, and mutants aren't real. I'll be the first to tell you, mutants are definitely real. I'm a mutant. Magic is definitely real. I perform magic every day in Los Angeles. There are videos documenting how many magical events I've done here. So clearly magic is real. And for the aliens thing, I mean, when you get to a certain level of genius, you have to think that, is it really just you, or are you picking up on a signal from an extra dimensional being? Because once you reach a certain level with your civilization, you will ascend or transcend physicality, and you will become pure energy. The idea that there are aliens in spaceships has always been laughable. I've been trying to tell NASA this. Look for me on Disney Plus, Miles Morales. See you, Adrian. Oh, I've been trying to tell NASA this, that more alien civilizations abandoned rockets. They abandoned chemical explosions altogether. They stopped. There's a planet that is extremely cold, but it is teeming with life, intelligent life. I'd like to go find that planet. Can't do that stuck in a barrio. And I can't do that with a rocket either. So change.org/Genius to Mars. Sign my petition so I can use my technology to go further than what NASA could ever do. This is Ian Iliana of I Hate LA, Love Me Anyway, a podcast dedicated to environmental activism, human rights advocacy, and yes, the advancement of physics. I will see you on the next podcast.